Yo, yo, yo. Hey guys, welcome back to another amazing edition of the Best Practices Show podcast. You ever asked yourself, why isn't the hygiene schedule as full as it should be? Well, I hate to say this, but we have the answer. Today, I have an amazing coach on. Her name is Ariel Siegel, and she gives you a great framework on how to answer that question and make sure your hygiene schedule is full with the right things. So please listen up. Hope you guys enjoy this, and we'll see you soon. Hey guys, welcome back to the Best Practices Show podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We always love when you guys are showing up. With over 116,000 unique listeners, keep spreading the word. I don't know how this is working, but we're so grateful. And today is Monday, which means it's Metric Mondays. Our goal to give you a little bite-sized piece of information today that you can use to improve your practice and your life. And I have an amazing coach on today. Her name is Ariel Siegel, and we're going to be talking about why isn't the hygiene schedule as full as it should be. Ariel, thanks for being back.
Yeah, I love it. This is a great topic and hopefully can help a lot of our teams out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us the key message here. When this comes up, what does it really mean?
Well, if our hygiene schedule is full, right, or to keep it full, we know that it's built through lots of systems, but through two main ones, right? We have our strong reappointment and our recare follow-up system and or a strong periodontal protocol. If either one of these are missing, then the schedule is going to always rely on those last-minute efforts instead of that predictable schedule. And we know that a lot of our teams out there are dealing and putting a lot of energy into refilling the schedule instead of being able to put their efforts elsewhere. So we have to have these systems together working properly.
Yeah, I can't say this enough. So if you're a dentist and you have a busy practice, you probably have 3 people that work at the front, and they're amazing. And your broken appointment percentage is probably north of 12 or 15%, which means they spend day after day after day putting out fire after fire. Probably 75% of their entire day is just putting out fires. What a horrible waste of their time and yours. So I'm here to tell you that what Ariel said is true. If you focus on 2 things, really, a strong reappointment and recare follow-up system, like I'm talking world-class, and then secondly, a world-class perio protocol, you're going to be busy with the right things in those columns for a long time. And as you can imagine, your restorative schedule will become full with the right things. But let's go here first, Ariel. I want people to know, what does this look like when it's messed up or when a practice gets it wrong?
Well, we see that reactiveness of our team, right? They're feeling that inconsistency of the days. They're putting a lot of effort in, and a lot of it is due to our patients are leaving without a next appointment, and there's no structured system. Or we see that they are leaving with an appointment, but they may be falling off, and we don't have that process of ensuring they're getting back onto the schedule, which is then leaving those future holes. And we're having to scramble to fill, okay, who can fill this? Who can we call? Can we reach out to them? I see a lot of this due to our team has really relied on reminders instead of a defined recare follow-up process. So it's right. Like, well, they get their reminders, they get their messages, we tell them when they're due, but we all know that patients' lives get busy, our lives get busy, and then so they fall through the cracks. And the automatic reminders, yes, are essential, and we know that we need them, but they can't be the whole system. They're only a part of the system.
Yeah, and then you could also see, and when we talk about perio, the perio ranges all over the place. You know, when you talk about consistency, like it varies with provider. You're going to see, really well done in one room, not so well done in another room. And it's going to be kind of like, oh, what do we feel like doing today? It just creates this massive cloud of helter skelter. So you see a lot of holes, you see circumstances based on that. And then ultimately, you hear this one all the time. We just need to fill the schedule, just fill this. Somehow we feel like full schedules are just going to fix everything, right?
Oh, we see it all the time, right? It's just filling it. And it's like, no, really is the system needs to build our schedule.
Right.
And I will add the caveat too that for a long time, and some of our teams still are at the point where our schedules for hygiene are a ways out, right? We do see that it is very high demand. And we also see that, yes, you're scheduled out several months, but you're still in that reactive state. So there's telling me there is still a breakdown in the system, even though you may look at the schedule and say, oh, well, we're out 6 to 8 months, but tomorrow we're all scrambling. So really take a look at, okay, maybe we do need a recare system, even though they may not be scheduling out until 6 to 8 months.
Yeah. And while that might sound overwhelming to you as a listener, I think the hygiene schedule like that is one of the greatest gifts you could ever get, because you know how you create a great practice? It's just one patient, one day at a time. You can take a schedule that's not so great, and day over day, you can fix it and change it so that you're booking the right stuff in your schedule and you're tethering the right patients to the practice in the right time slots. And you can look up at the end of 6 months with the help of a great coach like Ariel and go, this is amazing, way better than it used to be, if your team knows how to get it right. So let's talk about that. So Ariel, if you're coaching a team, and you want them to get it right, what does it look like when a practice gets this right?
Well, they're looking at the data points so that now the schedule is stable, it's intentional, it's consistent. Yes, there's effort, right? But it's not that last minute scrambling effort. It's very strategic for it. And those metrics that they're looking at are, okay, all of our patients, right? What is our hygiene reappointment rate? Are they scheduling before they leave the office? And not only are they scheduling, but are they committing to that appointment? Do they know the value of that next appointment and what they're coming back for? They're not coming back for just a cleaning. Right? They're coming for A, B, and C, right? And that hygienist and that team needs to be educating the patient. What are you coming back for? Are we working on something specific with that patient? Have they seen progress in something? Are they at risk for, factors, right? Letting them know, like, we need to keep this appointment. It's not only you're scheduling it and they know why they're scheduling it, why they're going to keep that up. And then if they're not scheduling because things happen, or they do schedule and then they fall off, what is that follow-up process look like? So if you don't schedule today, know that I will be reaching out to you in a weekly process so that I can track, I can prioritize, and I can continually re-engage those patients to get in the schedule. Because like I said, it's important that we're helping patients stay on track with their oral health. Things happen, life happens. I would even challenge too, like, look at your teams in the dental office. How many of them are overdue? And they work in the practice.
Right. Another thing is the perio protocol system. Now, I'm going to say this because I look at the scorecards of all of our practices. We have practices that go to all these institutes, and you know which ones they are. They have amazing training from the top restorative minds in all of the world. And then when we look at their practices, their perio percentages are at the bottom. They're in the 2, 3, 4% range. And so it's amazing when they get calibrated on a strong perio protocol. We're going to watch those percentages go from 3%, sometimes up to 15%. And then there's a strong perio acceptance. 4,000 codes start to go up because they're doing it with intention. Their verbal skills are better. And as you can imagine, your 4,000 codes go up. What happens in your restorative schedule is that gets full with the right things too, because you have people that are moving forward with things they understand, they value, and now they're going to start valuing the other things that you provide. It's very cool. It changes the whole landscape financially, as you can imagine. You look at the days. We just had our To the Top Study Club, and one of the things we did here was we had everybody break up in groups and analyze mix of services in hygiene and how a hygiene day could change. And one of my favorite things is when you see those perio appointments on a Tuesday morning and the dentist goes, oh my gosh, I could probably do a heavy restorative appointment. The same time my hygienists are doing a perio appointment, I'm like, yeah, you know how quiet it would be in your office? They're like, yeah, it would be amazing. All of this stuff can be done intentionally. You just have to know what you're doing, and you got to be able to figure this out. Anything else you would add to that, Ariel?
Well, right, as you said, the stronger perio acceptance means that more of our patients are going through that co-discovery process and guiding into the right care. So that way now the patients are partnering with us. Right. So that way we can actively manage their relationship and their outcome instead of chasing them down, letting them know you're due for your hygiene appointment, let's get you scheduled, and they're not seeing the value. They feel the value, they understand it, which is going to then lead to those fewer last minute holes. Life happens, emergencies happen, but they don't happen to the same person over and over if they value their care. Right? Then we ultimately have healthier patients, which is what we want, right? If I have a perio patient coming on their recall 3 months and they're doing their home care, they're going to be healthier. And that's our end goal for those patients.
Totally agree. And you gave me something that just gave me anxiety. You said chasing patients. Don't get into the chasing patients game. That's harder than ever. People don't answer their phones. As we speak, I have my phone next to me and I have to put it on do not disturb for the entire day. I have to because it's ringing all the time. Your patients are no different. Don't chase them. They don't like to be chased. Capture them while they're in the practice and create a strong system that tethers them to the practice while they're in the practice. There's the thought. Now, just like every Metric Monday, we're not going to leave you there. We're going to give you something you can do today. So, Ariel, let's give our listeners something they can do today to actively improve in their practice.
We'll first start seeing where are the gaps, right? If we have last minute holes, we have last minute openings, okay, where is that coming from? So then okay, where can we start building stronger systems? And you may want to do one at a time. You may dive into both. Totally up to you. But looking at hygiene reappointment, this is the easiest one for teams to improve on in a short amount of time, right? Set the expectation. Every patient is offered and encouraged to reserve their visit before leaving. Right? That's the easiest thing that we can do is let's get them on the schedule. Let's get that commitment and then start looking at what does that follow-up system look like? What amount of effort are we going to put in so that we're making strategic calls? We're tracking those that are unscheduled, right? It's a missed opportunity. And then on a weekly basis, I'm going to reach out to those patients by a mix of services, calls, text, emails, right? We want to be able to remind patients from all angles. And yes, is this effort? Yes. But the goal is, right, if I'm continuing to outreach, those patients I'm either, one, going to get a hold of, yep, or two, they're going to call back when it's convenient for them. And I'm consistently filling the schedule by those incoming calls. And I'm not having to, okay, I need to sit down and make 100 calls to fill these appointments right now, right? I have it slowly steady and it's just like, yeah, they call, they get them in, but it's because I'm putting the effort on the outbound without the level of stress. Like I need to get them scheduled now.
Yeah, totally agree. And then talk about a calibrated perio protocol. Like what does that look like?
This one's tougher. And this one's going to take more dedicated time in team meetings to really align on what does a healthy, right? What does gingivitis? What is periodontitis? What does that look like in our office and with our patients? How, when we can see those things and what tools are we using? Are we, what's our perio charts looking? Are we using some sort of AI to help read and help the patients see what's going on with their oral health? Are we doing scanning, intraoral photos, all of those? So that way then, okay, once we're co-discovering, co-diagnosing with the patient, we then know how to recommend, is it the scaling and root planing, the perio maintenance? What other services do we have to offer? But it has to be in alignment and calibrated on, because if they're hearing it from one hygienist and not the next, then we have a disconnect, right? Or the hygienist may set them up and then the doctor comes in and says, you're looking great. We'll see you again, right? That's where it's like you just really tore down that hygienist who put all of the effort in. So we have to be on the same page for it so that the patient hears it multiple times and they know that, okay, we truly do care. And then not only on how we're diagnosing, how we're finding it, but how are we communicating these to our patients? Are we knowing their different, communication styles? Are we helping relate that? Are we overcoming barriers? Are we relating it to their values? Right? So it's going to really help to train your team on building co-discovery into every hygiene visit. And I already hear it. Well, Ariel, that takes a lot of time. So does calling 100 patients to fill 2 holes for tomorrow.
Yes,
so it's like, are we going to put the investment in now, or are we going to be in that scrambling reactive mode? So we just have to change our behaviors and our mindset of, even if our hygiene program looks and feels strong in one area, there's always somewhere else that we can just fine tune, turn the dial, and help our systems be consistent.
Yeah, what you just said is so good. And I want you guys to hear that clearly. What Ariel's talking about is building a system. I want you to think about this. Every time you create a system, you save thousands and thousands of hours in the future. So you do have to pause, create a system, improve a system over time, because it reduces effort. It gets us all aligned. Whether your practice has 6 people or 60 people, the best way to get them aligned is to create a great system in those respects. And we're not going to leave you there. So Ariel was talking about the hygiene reappointment system. We have a detailed hygiene reappointment and recare follow-up system back in the BPA. If you're not back there, get back there. You don't have to figure any of this out. We've spent 30 plus years putting this together, of some of the best systems we've ever seen. You can follow it step by step by step. And I'll say one more thing. My heart goes out to team members, because team members often get the blame for all of this when they've never been properly developed or trained or brought into an organized structure. You as a leader now have the ability to create that for your team. What an amazing opportunity. We also have I can't even talk today because it's Monday, the calibrated periodontal protocol system back there. So you can see step by step, how do we do this, along with the verbal skills, the steps. Everything is laid out for you in an organized fashion, and we're improving it all the time. So make sure you check that out. And if you don't know where to find it, go down to the show notes, flip up the show notes. You're going to see a link right to the BPA. Don't even think about it. Just join it. We have your back. This profession is an amazing profession, but you have to get it to work for you instead of working against it. And we're here for you every step of the way. Ariel, that was awesome. Thank you so much for being on.
I love it. I was one of those team members that was constantly calling to fill the schedule. I'm like, man, I wish I would have had this in place sooner.
Yeah. And if you're a team member and your dentist doesn't understand how difficult it is to chase patients, switch places with them for a day and say, you try this. Call 6 patients and try to fill this schedule. No, that might not go so well. But if you've ever tried to track anybody down, you know it's difficult. It's always easier to do it when the patient is in the practice. So it's good stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope your week is off to a great start. Keep showing up for Metric Mondays. We're going to keep bringing it because we love this stuff. And until we see you guys next time, or you hear from us next time, keep watching or keep listening to the Best Practices Show. You guys enjoy your Monday.